Good morning, everybody. This is Robert Mims, also known as the Gaming Guy, coming to you live from Borgata Hotel in Atlantic City, as you can see. This is their Racing Sportsbook. I'm here with their Racing Sports Director, Tom Gable. Tom, thank you for having me here.
Pleasure's all ours. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate that. Have a couple questions for Tom as we discuss the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft. My first question is, do you see a uptake from playoff betting as opposed to regular season betting?
You absolutely do. You absolutely do. When the regular season ends, the amount of interest increases, certainly in the play-in games, and then when you get into the playoffs, I think a lot of it comes down to the customers know who's going to be playing. That's been kind of the knock on the NBA the last few years, where players are sitting out due to rest or load management, and the bettors get frustrated with that, especially if they're behind on finding that out, right? And so, in the playoffs, everybody's going to give it a go and give it their best effort. So the interest certainly increases, and with fewer games, but anytime a playoff in any sport, the interest is going to be there, and the handle's going to go up significantly.
So would you say that the play-in tournament has been successful in terms of the betting aspect in your business?
Yes, absolutely. The couple playing games that we've had already. Obviously, tonight we have the last couple to finalize the playoff field. So, yeah, the playing games have been very good and very well received handle-wise.
Okay. How's business been for the most part?
Well, we're coming off obviously a very busy time of the year with March Madness finishing up. That's the biggest betting event of the year for us. Super Bowl is the biggest one-day event, but March Madness as a whole, when you take the tournament as a whole, it's the biggest event of the year from a betting perspective. And then we went right into the Masters, which was really good, and certainly with Tiger playing in it.
That made it phenomenal.
Yeah, the man moves the needle in everything, including the betting market when he plays. So that was great, and now going into the NBA playoffs, there's really not too much of a fall off there. So we're going to stay busy right through the playoffs.
Okay. I want to shift a little bit because I know you get action from New York as well as from Philadelphia. When I was wondering which team, the Nets or the Sixers, gets the most play?
It's a good question because they both do. Typically, what we'll see here in Atlantic City, you have the two big feeder markets are New York and Philadelphia, as you said. So you always get the New York teams and the Philadelphia teams taking a lot of business in the future market. So you'll always get a lot of Sixers money. You always get a lot of Knick money. Obviously, Knicks are not in it this year, but and Brooklyn as well. And in fact, for the Eastern Conference odds, we actually had just a gentleman come in last weekend and put down $100,000 on Brooklyn to win the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
So.
He's very confident.
He's very confident to do that. That was even before their play-in game. Now they're at plus 320 to win the conference, and they're the number 7 seed. So they have the second best odds, but they're the 7 seed in the conference. But all of that is going to be, their odds are going to be determined by, obviously you have two of the best players on that team with Durant and Irving, but it's also, their odds are going to be determined by how much liability the sports books have. So always shop around. The price you may get here may not be as conducive to the consumer as you may find elsewhere on the net. So always be shopping around, look for the best prices.
That's good advice for the customers. Definitely. I want to just switch gears slightly and go to the NFL draft. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there want to think about how you would bet on the NFL draft. Tom will give us some pointers as to what bets they offer here at Borgata. What are some of those bets, Tom?
So we put up quite a few different props for the draft. And the draft is something that has, the interest has grown in, especially betting it the last few years.
Okay.
And so you can bet on, we'll put up odds for who will be the first overall pick, the second overall pick, third overall pick. Then we'll go by teams and we'll list odds out for each position, i.e., what position will the Eagles select with their first pick, and then
Okay.
we'll put odds up for each position. So quarterback will have odds up, running back will have odds, wide receiver will have odds up. And then we'll also get into over-under draft positions on particular players as well. So there's still more props to be drawn up. We have the first few markets up there right now that you're able to bet on the draft. The draft is something, I think, from a customer standpoint, a better standpoint, it's certainly something you can make money on, because it's not something that's fun to book from our side of the counter. It's all information based. There's no competition involved. Nobody's playing a game. It's all coming down to what a team is deciding. So, savvy bettors have been making money off of this for years. So really, as a book, you're offering it as something that's just something because the customers like it, they enjoy betting it, but it's not something you're ever going to make a lot of money on from a sportsbook perspective.
So you offer it as more of a courtesy to your bettors.
Yes, absolutely, because people enjoy betting it, and but if we can just even break even on the draft, I call it a win for us.
Okay. Well, there you have it, everybody. My brief interview with Tom Gable. There'll be more coming shortly as we're doing a Zoom call with other sportsbook operators from around the country. So stay tuned for that. And we're signing off right now from the Borgata Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.